Hi there, Algebra 2, 4.7, quadratic formula. Objective today is to solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula to determine the number of solutions by using the discriminant. The quadratic formula to solve the quadratic equation ax to the second plus bx plus c equals 0. Use the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And that is the formula we will be using all day today. So we have negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a is what x is going to equal today. Okay? So, this one right here, we have, I'm going to add 4 over. X to the second plus 4x plus 4 equals 0. The reason I did that is I want it in the form of a x to the second plus bx plus c equals 0, so that I can figure out what my values are. C is 4, b is 4, a would technically be a 1. Okay? Now I need to sub that in here. B was 4. So I have negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4ac. All over, okay? A and C. A was 1, so times 1. C was 4 times 4. We're going to get negative 4 plus or minus the square root. All right, 16. Oh, I forgot to put this over 2a, which is 2 times 1. All right, so you get negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 4 times 4, which is 16 times 1, over 2. That's going to give me 0, so I'm going to get negative 4 plus or minus 0 over 2, which is really going to be negative 4 over 2, which is going to equal negative 2. This one just happens to only have one solution. And later in the lesson, we're going to figure out how to find out how many solutions it is. What is taking place here is this is how many times or where it crosses the x-axis. The x-axis is this one. Not this one, this one. So in this case, at negative 2, it's probably going to go right through here. It's either going to be up like this, or it's going to be down like this. But it's only going to touch probably at the vertex, and the vertex is probably going to be part of this point. Okay? Now, the other thing we have is this one. So we're going to do the exact same thing with that one. I'm going to keep my quadratic formula up on the top there. Ax to the second plus bx plus c equals 0. C, I'm going to make this a plus minus, so I remember that. There we go. And there's nothing here, so technically be a 1. Okay, now I can sub it into this formula. B is 4, negative 4, plus or minus the square root, once again 4 squared, minus 4 times 1 times a negative 3 all over 2 times 1. Alright, we're going to get negative 4 plus or minus square root of 16. 4 times 3, both negatives, is going to give me 12 times 1, so it's going to be plus 12 over 2. Okay? Now, that's going to give me negative 4 plus or minus square root of 28 over 2. Okay, can we break this down anymore? Oh, it don't look like it, Mr. Riedel. I don't know what the square root of 28 is. Is there something that we can make happen so that equals the square root of 28? Let's try some factors. So if we took the square root of 4 times the square root of 7, do we get 28? Yeah, square root of 28. It'll still be square root. So, what's the square root of 2 though? Square root of 2, or square root of 4 is what? 2. Can I take the square root of 7? No. Okay? Now, when I divide, I have to almost divide this by 2 and divide this side by 2. If I can divide. If that don't work, then I can't divide. Or I gotta leave it with like this, separate. So I'm gonna get negative 2 here when I divide, plus or minus. The 2's are gonna cancel out, so I'm just gonna get the square root of 7. That is my answer. Okay? Now, does that have one answer or two? Well, you technically have negative 2 plus the square root of 7, and you would have negative 2 minus the square root of 7. So there's two solutions for this one. Okay? Now, with that being said, you can have y equals this one has two solutions. Crosses it twice, and that's what we're basically looking at. And we'll talk about this some more. This one has one solution at 0, 0. This one, it never does cross the x-axis, so this one has no solution. Alright, now, you guys always tell me you never, when am I ever going to use this? Okay, this one is a profit one. So, the thing is, you guys might, your class trips, for example, how much do I have to sell this so I can go on my classification? Your school jazz band is selling CDs as a fundraiser. The total profit, P, depends on the amount X that your band charges for each CD. The equation P equals negative X to the second plus 48X minus 300 models the profit of the fundraiser. What is the least amount in dollars you can charge for a CD and make a profit of $200? Okay, we said profit was P. Now we're telling us that profit is $200, or we're trying to get a profit of $200. So, our equation is 200 equals